Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hey, y'all.
We're happy to have you. And for those of you tuning in today, you'll be the first to know that there will be some changes being made. There are some changes. We are in the middle of moving. We're in the middle of shifting from videos to a different type of, thing.
Yeah.
So we're just going to hint at it for now. We'll give you some more information as the time come closer.
Exactly.
To the big change. But yeah, so we have good things to look forward to.
Exactly. Now that's, done and out the way, we always appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. The best way to stay notified with us and up to date is hitting that, bell notification.
Absolutely.
So you can get notified, hitting subscribing and liking our content. And guys, we heard these shoes were made for walking, right?
Yeah.
So let's bring that back to our feet. What are these feet talking about?
Right. So it's a lot of things that are going on with our feet, that are telling us what's going on with our health, our body.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that our feet could tell us potentially the most about our bodies when it's the most ignored.
Exactly.
It's down there. Like, unless I'm like having a petty day, I'm not really
thinking about feet. And like you said, and it's the key factor in that is too, it tells us before any other part of your body tells you something's wrong.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think the feet would be the first one to tell you, right? You'd be like, oh, maybe your mouth, like, ow, that hurts. But no. And, it goes from the numbing, the tingling sensation to cracks, whatever it may be. But it's targeting certain things, organs in our bodies, letting us know what we could be deficient in, right?
Yes.
So
we're going to go through a few different conditions of the feet to let you know, help you decipher what could it be saying about your body.
Exactly. And the first one is a very common one. It's when your feet is swollen, right? A lot of us, can go through that.
My feet all day.
Okay. And, whether or not you're pregnant or not, right? Like, this is just your feet getting swollen. It could be a lot of different kind of signs. One being poor liver function. I mean, goodness, guys, like if your liver is not doing its properly thing to filter out and, what from the good and the bad part of your body, right? If it's not filtering it out, you're going to see that in your feet. You're also going to see it through liver diseases. It's probably time to go get checked if you are seeing like yellow eyes, like your skin is like starting to get yellowed around your feet portion, yellow feet, crack, that type of thing. Like, get that checked out. And it's very common, like heart diseases, like your heart health is your heart is obviously the most important muscle in our body, and we want to make sure we were taking a look at that. And your heart health is key. So you want to take a look and see whether or not what your feet could be saying about that. And the last part too is I want to add pregnancy. I mean, granted, when you're growing a baby, your body is changing regardless. You have hormones, estrogen flying all over the place. So it's like, I feel like it's one of those hard things to say like, oh, it's because of that, right? But if you're narrowing things down, and it leads you to that, you want to definitely take a look at that and go see your, pediatrician or your doctor.
Yeah. And the next one here we have is spider veins. I didn't even know that was a sign for anything. I just thought people be having crazy looking veins. But yeah, there's such a thing as spider veins, and that's when it looks very string-like.
Yeah,
and spreads out all over your skin. So, that could be signs of things like poor liver function.
Wow.
You'll be surprised the kind of things that are linked to your liver. Estrogen dominance, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
So usually people with spidey veins, sometimes that may be your case where you have a large amount of estrogen. I hope that's not a man you're talking about.
It's interesting because it's like when we were younger, I used to, when you would look at older people's feet, I used to see that a lot.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, to think that one of the signs could be estrogen dominance, it's like you wouldn't think that.
That's interesting. And birth control pills, like seriously?
Wow.
So they're definitely changing your veins, changing your body components, changing your chemicals, and it in turn affects your your veins, guys. And also another thing that could cause spider veins is blood clotting.
Ooh.
Like near the valve or something, causing the rest of the veins to kind of,
yeah,
start looking like that.
And if that's you, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's these are probably one of the common things that happen to people's feet, right? Another one is cracked feet. When your feet is cracked, what is that saying about your body? What's going on? Well, you have vitamin B3 and omega-3 deficiency. Okay, you probably are experiencing like dry, flaky skin. Like you just walking around and it feels like your feet's like a patty. Like
dang,
not edible. You're just flaking everywhere. Like you definitely want to take a look at that. Like if you have athlete's feet and that is like a fungal infection, right? And you don't gotta be an athlete, let me tell you, to have athlete's feet. It's just when something's going on with your finger, your toenails, whatever's going on down there. Or any type of fungal infection will make your feet kind of like smell. You'll have like a weird weird color coming out of the sole of your feet, because that's where the crack is, mostly happening.
All right, so guys, we also have here on the list tingling and numbness of your feet. Okay, so usually when it's tingling, that means you're probably vitamin B12 deficient. So amp up on your B12. It could also be signals of like peripheral neuropathy, or some sort of like neurological condition.
Oh, wow.
That's causing the tingling and the numbing of the feet.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have here is spinal stenosis. I guess that's a condition in which it causes numbness and tingling of your feet.
Yeah, and those are like important. Definitely. Nerve damage is something I feel like could go under the radar because it's like in your body. Yeah. So it's just like it feels tingling and off, and you might just be like, oh, just a little sensation, but definitely check that out.
Yeah.
And last one here is like second to last is if you have tingling and numbing of the feet. Oh, right, the cold feet. Guys, come on, check me out. So if we're having cold feet, and I used to suffer a lot from this, and it's like I had to look into that. What does that mean? Well, you have low iodine.
And we're not talking about the metaphor, like...
Right, like, oh...
you get cold feet
No.
We're talking about actual...
And consistently, like, you have cold, clammy feet. You could be anemic, okay? And diabetes are very... part of that. And lastly, you could have a vascular disorder where it's kind of like your body, your veins aren't actually pumping what it's supposed to, the blood levels and oxygen levels throughout your body. So your feet isn't getting as much oxygen, leaving you to have cold, clammy feet. Yeah.
Last but not least on this list, guys, we have leg cramping. I've seen people have like severe leg cramping to the point where they're like shaking, spazzing, crying. Oof. And I'm gonna be like, what's up, honey?
It's
what
bad.
is up,
It's bad.
But a leg cramp can be more than just a leg cramp. It could be a sign of magnesium deficiency,
Okay.
It could also be dehydration, another sign of nerve damage.
Yeah, you wouldn't think linking water to cramps.
Oh yeah, like and then last but not least, low potassium, which is an electrolyte. Most of these really are linked to electrolytes that your body needs. So if it's deficient in those ways or it's dehydrated, your leg is gonna start cramping.
Okay, and y'all, I don't know about you, but I've had dead, when you'll be like, oh, my foot's asleep or it's dead. Yeah, it's not a good feeling because dragging it out, it's just like it tingles even worse. And so imagine that being a chronic condition where it's like constantly happening to you. And so those are things you have to look into because our body is not meant to be in a state of pain, suffering, and diseases. So it's just like
and when it is in those conditions or in these states of pain and suffering, we should try not to ignore it and just kind of like find ways to deal with it. We should be checking ourselves out to make sure that it's not a sign to something bigger.
Yeah, because it's like the snowball effect. You ignore that, it's gonna obviously lead to something a lot bigger. And next thing you know, you're at a hospital with $100,000 bills, being diagnosed with certain things because you've been ignoring your feet saying this whole time.
Yeah, so our bodies are like machines. We have to take care of them, and we have to attack the problems when they're just starting out, when we're just noticing the signs before, letting more stuff rack up.
Okay. So what is your feet saying about your health? Well, your feet could be saying a lot.
Yes, absolutely. And I just think it's so interesting, but really it reminds us that every part of our body is being used, or it's doing something. Like there's no parts of your body that's not working for you.
Exactly.
So it's sad when you don't in turn take care of it while it's taking care of you,
Right? And I love that too, what you're saying. It's all kind of like connected. Your feet's not isolated from any part of your, your organs, your muscles, and your body. It's all linked, and it's giving, shooting and receiving signals from your heart, from your mind
to the brain. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just
they're all in cahoots. Ain't nobody left out. The toes knows what the fingers are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's in communication.
Everybody really is. So, what do you guys think about this? Would you have gone to your feet as the first sign of illness? Like, is that something where you're taught to look at? Because I know that could be cultural too. That could just be like, oh, I look at, you're a feet type of person. You be looking at people's feet. Like, what is going on?
Fetish? I don't know. But yeah, so we just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I think there's more awareness now going around about our feet and how it could be tied to our livers and large organs and things like that. Yep. So let's just, keep that in mind. Let's keep educating ourselves and finding different ways to communicate with ourselves. All right, guys?
Absolutely. Well, if you learned something new, go ahead and drop it down in the comments. Okay, we would love to know what you've learned. Go ahead and pass it on to a friend of a friend, and go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not done so already. We drop videos like this every single week, y'all. So we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.